Good afternoon, everyone. And I would first of all like to thank the organisers for having this wonderful conference here for us today. And, you know, coming and standing here has been quite an ambition for me for at least maybe last 3 years, since the time I've got into more of knowing what the world around me is doing. So TED has been a real inspiration for me. But have all of us, I'm sure, have been in movies or, been watching TV series which say something like this to us at the start, that this entire thing is a work of fiction and that any resemblance to living or dead people is purely coincidental. Well, okay, I'm going to start off by reiterating this point that yes, this entire story, which I'm going to tell you now, is a work of, figment of my imagination, and it will bear no resemblance to anyone. So it will be all hypothetical, maybe. Well, so, here we go. The story starts off somewhere in the summer of 2010. And I'm going to use a young girl in this because I can relate more to a girl. So, a young girl had nothing to do, basically, in the summer after university. And it was a lonely and a boring summer holiday, which she had to pass off 4 months and do absolutely nothing but watch daytime TV or, just go out and eat something good. And she was stuck in a really hot tropical country, and no, there was no beach around, so she could, go and sit on the beach and have a nice summer holiday. So what does a person at the age of 20, 21 do when they have nothing to do but just probably go out, start walking around, explore what is around them, talk to new people? That is something that she decided she would do at that point. And she just decided she'll go and speak to someone random on the street and ask if there was anywhere where her skills of anything could be used. So she came across one person who said to her that apparently there was a small destitute home sitting somewhere close to her locality where she was. And they could do with some help every afternoon, and they could, get somebody to do some general admin stuff for them, free of charge, obviously. And she decided, all right, okay, I will be super nice to them, and I will go and do my bit of being kind for the day and go and do that and be nice. So what started off with a general visit to this destitute home, it was more of when you see people around you not doing anything, aimlessly sitting around, who are, pretty much in a similar situation to you, what do? Well, you just be kind and give them some loose change and walk away. Well, she did the same thing the first day, but there was something that caught her attention that day, and she thought, well, okay, I'll go in the next day and see what I can do for them. Went in, did some general admin stuff for 1 week, came back. But as she used to walk in, she would see all these aimless people sitting there and doing absolutely nothing except gossiping, maybe fighting with each other over trivial matters, but doing nothing basically. So there was all this, talent out there. There was all these people there who had nothing to do, and there was this one person who similarly had nothing to do. So, while speaking to friends over Facebook and all these things, she came across the thing that, yes, what could be done? Well, friends suggested, family friends all suggested, well, maybe, start taking up a session for them, just get them gather around and talk to them, to these destitute people sitting there. And the thing was, well, somebody suggested taking pot of paint, taking some paper, and just give it to them, just see what they do with it. So the next day she went into the market and got some pots of paint and got some pots and paper and stuff for them. She left it in a room. So people got quite curious, why is all this here? So somebody came and asked her that, why is this here? And then she said, well, it's up to you what you want to do with it. So that person sat down with a couple of brushes and just painted a pot out. So when one person came in, they saw that, the others saw that that one person had some fun for that 1 hour. So the next day, a few more women started coming in. as soon as the women had started coming in, they had something to discuss within themselves for the rest of the evening after she had left. So what she noticed was that within 10 days' time, there were all these, at least 50 women had started coming to these afternoon sessions. So while yes, between 2 and 4, she was doing something fruitful, and so were the people. That was half the battle won there, that at least 50 people were doing something worthwhile, were having fun, were having good time, basically. What happened next was the other half battle. There were still other people, 50, maybe, let's use the word 50 here, and 50 men folk sitting there at the door still and making fun of the women. That, why are you doing this? This is just, not worth your time. Why do you need to do it? It's just not worth it. So that was the second half of the battle. That how do you get the men to come on and do something as well? So the thing was that she went on and told the first woman who would come in that, okay, get all others excited and tell them that, yes, this is what we're doing, or just sit and chat about it, just sit and discuss about it. And, make sure that you do not give away all the details of what you do. Keep it ambiguous. Keep it like, oh, yes, we had so much fun, but if somebody comes and asks you, what did you do? Well, that's for, me to know and you to find out, kind of thing. So yes, the men got quite interested. That kind of hurt their male ego, that why are women having all the fun and why are we not doing something here? So the men got quite interested at that point, and they decided, like, okay, let's check out what are these people doing. Next day, in the afternoon, she found 2 men standing there waiting to actually, see what's going on. So the first person walks in, the first guy walks in and says, well, can I help you out and do something, She's like, well, it's up to you what you want to do. So he was like, okay, I will pick up a brush and paint this pot. And eventually he turned out to be the best painter in the whole group. Of not having said that the others were bad, but he turned out to be one of the real creative ones. And he started teaching others of what they could do, of how could they use brushes and how could they use, mix up paint and do different things. So here he was doing nothing till 2 days ago, and now he had started teaching somebody else something. So while yes, there was 2 months down the line, they had created all these things, and now what do these people do with it? Was it just for fun that they were doing it? Nah, not really. So the young girl decided she'll approach the manager of the institute, and she said, well, can we put up a little, exhibition for them, or just show it to people what kind of talent we have here? So the manager kind of agreed and said, okay, we've got a Founders Day coming up, people will be coming in, we can show it to them at that point, and they can then decide whether they want to buy it for a really small monetary price of it. So they put up an exhibition, and everything sold out within, you could say, not even half an hour. Well, maybe people just pitied them, maybe people just thought, okay, they've made an effort, let's just be really kind and, buy these things. But whatever it was, it generated some cash. It generated some money there. And the pure joy on the inmates' faces at that point was something remarkable, because they had done something. For the first time in their life, they had created something of their own. They had created an enterprise within themselves. So that joy was like, they had tasted the blood for once, they had tasted the success, and they were determined at that point that they will continue. So they decided, right, I'm going to stick with this, I am going to do this, and I am going to, make money for this little home that I'm living in, or for my own people. So what they had effectively done there, from before being to, never having worked in their life, never having done anything, they had suddenly become these young entrepreneurs. They had suddenly, come up with an enterprise which was self-sustaining, the money which they were generating by selling their own products. They had suddenly, become these people who had gone from being job seekers to being creators of jobs for people, within their own system. They had started employing even more people within that system, and they had started to bring up new things. So, when I put up this title of being a job seeker to a creator, quite a lot of people asked me that, well, what is this going to be? Is this going to be your own story about what you've done, about how, you've become a creator yourself? And I was like, no, I still haven't got to that point where I can, step out and say, yes, I've created jobs. Yes, I've, not anymore a job seeker. Yes, I'm still a job seeker. I'm still looking out for jobs in oil and gas industry. But then, the whole story of this young social entrepreneur, I wanted to put across the point that there is no age for entrepreneurs. There is no age at all. It could be me, it could be a 10-year-old, it could be a 60-year-old. And the funniest thing is that the inmates in that destitute home were all roughly over the age of 50. And they had still become young entrepreneurs at their age. And that's the thing, like this story, each one of us, and I think this story only made an impact because one young person, as we categorize them between the age of 20 and 25, decided to do something really as an act of selfishness, basically, that to spend their own time and not get bored. That made an impact on 100 other people. So if one person could make an impact on 100 other people, think about of all the students out here, or of all the people out here, how many people can each one of us make an impact on? And if each one of us just goes out and shows one ray of hope to one person who's actually a job seeker really in this market, what could we do? We could make all these job creators out there. We could be creating an entire community of entrepreneurs. And the need for development in most of the upcoming third world countries or places like that is entrepreneurship. You need to invoke the spirit of making your own money, of making your own, coming up with new ideas. The ideas really don't have to be new. They can be tried and tested formulas, but just used in a new way each time. And where did I come into entrepreneurship from? It's a very long story, but in the winters of 2010, I went on a journey across India, which takes young people between the age range of 20 and 25. And it really just shows you what social entrepreneurship could be doing to the world. They take you across different social entrepreneurship ventures and how have those models successfully run. You meet 400 other people who share the similar ideas of doing something for someone, and even one person is done, then yes, we've made a big impact. So I came across of this journey and I met, some of the real heroes who are working behind the scenes. Somebody is working in healthcare sector while somebody is working in just providing people with old clothes. But that's what I didn't want to really stand here today and speak about that, but I wanted to stand here and share this story because that one thing made me realize that if I make an impact on one person, if I be the change which I want to see in the world, I can actually do it. And that was rightly said by Mahatma Gandhi, that be the change that you wish to see in the world, and you will see the change in the world. So what I want to say to wrap this up is we're never too young or we're never too old to be entrepreneurs. We all have something in us which can, take us up there and which can make us make a change to people. We can stop being job seekers and we can create these jobs for people around us who actually need it. So yes, that's what I wanted to say today, that if each one of us is going to stand up and do one change, we can change the world. And after all, maybe that story wasn't an imagination altogether. Thank you.